When I left my team, when I decided to retire from dance, I got a lot less active, and there was one thing that I decided to do after I quit dance to stay a bit more healthy, and that is to go to the gym as often as I can. And of course, with this whole pandemic thing going on, the gym has been closing and opening and closing and opening, and it's been very inconsistent, whether because of me or because of this whole coronavirus thing. I've realized that when you stop dancing, you just tend to get a lot less active. Because let's admit it, a lot of us dancers, we do not like to work out. Our dancing is already our workout. But since then, I've grown into the habit of going to the gym every day. Like I said, as much as I could. And I've been enjoying it. It's now come to the point where if I don't go to the gym, I feel super guilty about myself. So that's where I'm gonna go now. But I wanted to also incorporate a little bit of new video. Also, for those who haven't seen or didn't know, I have also started a Zoomcast or a podcast where my goal is to talk with many other dancers here in Minnesota and get their thoughts, opinions, and experience on many things. I am trying to get to as much dancers as I can from all facets of genre and dance in Minnesota, primarily people from hip-hop, choreography, funk styles, because I just think that there's just so much to share, both on a micro scale for the community specifically here, and on the macro scale. I think that Minnesota is slowly becoming a very strong community, and can be soon comparable to places like Chicago, which that's not a stab at anyone or anything like that. We here in Minnesota love Chicago. It's literally the closest big dance community that we have here, and so we go there a lot, or as much as we can. But as you can see with the title of this video, this is gonna be about 3 things that you as a dance director of your team should really be thinking about. You should be prepared for these things because it's not a matter of if it'll happen, but rather when it'll happen. I've gone through these a lot, both personally for a couple of these and, second-handedly, however you want to say it. So yeah, let's get to the intro. These are three serious situations that you as a dance director should be prepared for. One of the biggest mistakes that even myself have gotten into was having the wrong mindset that the people on my team are gonna stay with me the entire time. Whether it's only for a season or if it's generously for a couple of years, people will leave. When I got to season 4 of my dance team, I realized that not a single one of those dancers were with me during season 1. Everybody that I started the dance team with have left. When season 3 happened, I only had one other person? No, I had 2. Yeah, I had 2 people on my season 3 team that I had on my season 1 team. And personally, it kind of sucked to see that. Throughout the years, you as a director, you have to understand that a lot of your dancers don't, and I say this very lightly by the way, don't care about your team as much as you do. And that's not a stab at the dancers. You should care about the team more than they do, which means that you should prepare and expect to have new members, different members every single year. Don't get attached to the same people. I mean, yes, be their friend. I'm not saying that you should treat them like robots and, not care about them. But whether they're there with you for half a season, a whole season, 3 seasons, there comes a time in their lives when it's time to leave. Whether it's leaving the team to go somewhere else, or to focus on school, work, or to just leave dance in general. And as a director, you should support that. I've never forced any of my dancers to stay, but to me, as well as for you, you should be happy that your dancers are moving on. And as they move on, you should prepare to learn how to market your team to newer dancers. I'm gonna be late to the gym. Let's do number 2 in the car. So I totally forgot that we had a snowstorm the other day, and I just spent the last 10-15 minutes just trying to scrape my car out. But anyways, the number 2 thing that you as a dance director should be prepared for are relationships. For those who don't know, relationships are probably like the number 1 taboo in dance teams, because 90% of the time they just don't end well. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad, okay? I personally have plenty of friends who did just fine in a dance team. They're even married, have their own kid. It can work out, okay? And as a dance director, I'm more talking about being careful about your younger dancers. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. Boy and girl find out that they have the same hobby together on the same team and get to see each other every week. And dancers find other dancers hella attractive. Let's just get that out of the way. And you can't stop that. Let's be honest, okay? You can't go up to them and be like, hey, no, you two, no talkie. It's their life. You just gotta deal with it. But you should also set boundaries and let people know things ahead of time, okay? It's kind of like that awkward conversation that you have with your parents about puberty or sex. If you see that two of your younger dancers started dating, you should probably pull them aside or send them a message or something and be clear to them that you support their relationship and you hope they do well, but there will be consequences if their relationships end up affecting practice or the team. What are the consequences? I don't know. That's up to you. A good friend of mine once told me that he gives their dancers an ultimatum if things don't go well. And that ultimatum is that one of those dancers has to leave. It's tough, but if it comes to that, it has to be done. I have literally 2 weeks before a big competition day had a dancer just suddenly leave because they broke up and they were both on the team. That's kind of shit you go through. And we only practice once a week. So that gave us 2 practice days to try to reorganize our formations, redo the choreography, and then, god damn, that's just the life of a director. So to you younger dancers out there, if you got the hots, cool, go for it. But just don't fuck up your dance team. A lot of more experienced dancers understand this, and that's why a lot of them stay single for a very, very long time. They're more focused on the dance team and their dance life than they are relationships. But I mean, that's just with a lot of careers, jobs, and lifestyles in general. Relationships will come, unless you're like me. Then it takes you a whole decade plus. But your dance team is now, and if you decide to fuck it up, you're missing out on an opportunity that you will never get back. Alright, so I'm getting kind of cold here, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to the gym. I will do number 3 when I get back. Alright, anyways, you know what sucks more than working out with the mask on? Having asthma and working out with the mask on. You just can't breathe. But anyway, so the third thing that every single dance director or management team or honestly even a dancer should be worried about, should be prepared for, are parents. Now obviously this only applies if you have dancers that are underage, under 18. First, let me start by saying that if you run a dance team, you should always have submission forms. And yes, people do have to be 18 at least in order to fill out the form by themselves. Which means that for the ones who are not 18, they do have to have their parents or someone of, actually no, it does have to be a parent or guardian to sign for them. Membership forms are something that I'm gonna get into in a whole different video, but you have to be aware that if you have dancers that are under 18, you're probably going to run into parental issues. And there are times where you might have to speak to parents. Every studio runs into this scenario every once in a while because a lot of the majority of dancers are kids. However, you're just renting from a studio. And no matter what the situation is, you have to remember and remind parents that the studio is not responsible for what their child joined, because the child didn't join the studio, they joined your team. Unless your team is part of a studio, then it's a different story. But you have to make sure that you understand how to deal with parents. What are you gonna do if a kid gets hurt? What are you gonna do if a kid can't afford studio payment? Legally, you can't go after the kid, you gotta go after the parent. It sounds really bad when I say to go after them, but that's essentially what you gotta do eventually. Just like how parents can really enjoy the fact that their kid is growing and learning dance, they can be really, really crude as well. And you're gonna have to make sure that you don't get on their bad side, because if they do, they might just pull out their kid, which is not something that ideally any of us want, especially the dancer. You gotta make sure that the parents understands everything that you're gonna be doing throughout the entire year. If you're planning to travel, you have to make sure that the parents understand that you are planning to travel. If they, for some reason, go full on Karen on you, you got to un-Karen it. It's funny saying that actually, because I do have a friend named Karen. What is my point that I'm trying to get at here? I don't actually have one, because if I was going to point out every single encounter or scenario that you can have with the parents, that's gonna be a good 3-4 hour video. And these are only 5 to 10 minutes long, so just be wary of parents. When you talk to them, you have to be professional, and you have to sound like you know what you're doing. You can't get all personal and cool and friendly with them like you do your dancers, unless the parents are cool that way, which I don't know, I guess some of them are. But understand that for your dancers who are young, who are under 18, there is a parental aspect to it, and you have to keep that in the back of your head. So yeah, those were 3 scenarios, 3 things, 3 situations that every single dance director or dance management team should be prepared for. If you liked this video or found it helpful, please subscribe if you haven't, leave a thumbs up. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and have a wonderful New Year's. I'll see y'all in the next video.
Chase me. I see you running back to someone else. I'm racing.